What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network for my top 10 cards from Chilling Reign, which is the newest Pokemon trading card game set coming out on June 18th, 2021. It will be available on Pokemon TCG Online on June 17th, 2021 at 1 p.m. Eastern via ptcgo codes, and this video is going up shortly before then. So if you're watching this video on June 17th, be sure to come by my stream, twitch.tv/Celio's Network. I'll be giving away Chilling Reign ptcgo codes and also playing a bunch of new decks. And if you're watching this in the future, check out twitch.tv/Celio's Network anyway. Drop a follow so you'll know when I'm live, and be sure to subscribe to this channel for daily Pokemon TCG content. Before we get into my top 10 cards from the newest set, Chilling Reign, a quick shout out to PoTownStore.com, the best place for you to get PTCGO codes, and be sure to use code CELIO to save yourself 5% off at checkout. Now let's see what I rank the top 10 best cards in Chilling Reign. Number 10 is going to be Zara Orvi. Zara Orvi has the Rapid Strike emblem, which already makes it good because Rapid Strike has great support and other great Pokemon in the current standard format. And it has one attack, Cross Fist, but the attack has a little bit of depth, which is nice. For 3 energy, you do 100, and then if one of your other Rapid Strike Pokemon used an attack last turn, it does 100 plus 160 to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So 100 plus 160 to the bench, maybe 190 with the new Passimian, maybe 220 with the new Passimian plus Telescopic Sight. Can do a lot of damage to a benched Pokemon, probably one-shot out all of the support Pokemon that are around right now. That being said, I don't think Zara Orvi will have a massive influence on the current standard format, but I do think it's a nice attacker to have at your disposal if you're building a Rapid Strike style toolbox kind of deck with maybe this and Blaziken Vmax and Urshifu Vmax, and then in the future Sylveon Vmax coming out in Evolving Skies. So I think Zara Orvi is a great card, but it's really hard to make this the sole focus of your deck with Mew Bench Barrier currently in the format, and also needing to always attack with a different Rapid Strike Pokemon prior to using this Zara Orvi to get the full effect of Cross Fist out. Something to note is that this is always going to be as good as other Rapid Strike Pokemon are, and as good as your Rapid Strike support is, which is pretty good, which is just getting this into the top 10 card list here for Chilling Reign. I think it's solid. I don't want to overhype it though, so I'm leaving it at number 10 for today's list. Next is Blaziken Vmax at number 9. Blaziken and Zara Orvi, I was back and forth. I don't think their number 10 or number 9 rankings really make each other too much better than the other, but Blaziken Vmax has more versatility. Blaziken Vmax actually accelerates energy to your Rapid Strike Pokemon, so this can go with Zara Orvi, or it can go with Urshifu Vmax, or it can go with the Sylveon Vmax coming out in a later set. So this one just has a little bit more versatility to it, with the Max Blaze attack for 2 colorless energy, which can be satisfied by your Rapid Strike energy. It does 130, and then choose up to 2 of your benched Rapid Strike Pokemon and attach an energy card from your discard pile to each of them. So this can accelerate special energy or basic energy from the discard pile to your Rapid Strike Pokemon. So I think Blaziken Vmax actually makes Zara Orvi a little bit better, so that's kind of why I ended up going with Blaziken Vmax as number 9 and Zara Orvi as number 10, because Blaziken Vmax actually helps make other Rapid Strike cards even better. The Max Blaze attack is great because you can do it for just 1 energy attachment on Blaziken Vmax, which means if you use it and you get hit, you can even Cheryl that turn, the next turn, and then just attach another energy and accelerate that energy that got discarded with Cheryl, and that sounds pretty crazy. Or you can just use it as a fire type attacker in a Rapid Strike toolbox that also accelerates energy at the same time. 130 against a Zacian or even a Zamazenta while Path to the Peak is in play will knock out 2 very strong metal type Pokemon in the format. So Blaziken Vmax I expected to see play. Not the best card in the set, but definitely made its way into this top 10 list. Next we have Intellion. This Intellion is a stage 2 with a Rapid Strike emblem again, so all Rapid Strike Pokemon so far. And something to note is that this card evolves from Drizzle, and Drizzle has a very good Sword and Shield base set card that when you evolve it, you get to search out a trainer card. When you evolve the Sword and Shield Intellion, you get to search out 2 trainer cards, and the new Sobble from Chilling Reign has an attack for 1 colorless energy that lets you search out 3 Rapid Strike Pokemon and put them to your bench. So the Intellion line just has so much value throughout every piece, which makes this Intellion even better. But it has the ability Quick Shooting. Once during your turn, you may put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So if you set up 2 or 3 of these, you're putting 2, 4, or even 6 damage counters a turn on your opponent's board without even attacking yet. This is the same ability as Decidueye GX's Feather Arrow back in Sun and Moon base set, which saw a ton of play and was very, very good. And I think Intellion Rapid Strike here from Chilling Reign is going to be very good. Japan has been playing this card for quite a while now with the Intellion support line, partially because Jirachi from Team Up with Stellar Wish is not a standard legal card in Japan, but I don't think that means that Intellion is only good when Jirachi rotates. I think this Intellion line will be good straight out of Chilling Reign. The Quick Shooting ability with an addition of the Waterfall attack for 2 colorless doing 70 also means any Vmax deck playing this Intellion and any energy that can be attached to Intellion gives you a pretty simple Decidueye soft counter, with the Quick Shooting being able to damage Decidueye plus Waterfall being able to do 70 to finish it off if you can attach a couple energy. So you get this nice counter to Decidueye, possibly a counter to Zamazenta if you can also play Tool Jammer or Tool Scrapper to get rid of their goggles, so your Quick Shooting can actually damage the Zamazenta and you can withstand their attacks turn to turn while just doing the Quick Shooting ability. But Intellion, outside of those being a natural tech answer to a couple anti-meta decks, Quick Shooting is going to add up damage a lot over time. If you've ever missed a knockout by 2, 4, 6, 8 damage, 2 turns of having 2 of these Intellions on the board is an extra 8 damage on something. 1 turn of having 2 Intellions on the board is 4 extra damage on something. So this can really add up even in these fast-paced games we're having these days. Going into a Vmax focused meta, especially post-rotation, but also a bit right now in current standard, this Intellion is getting a little more and more value out of its ability the longer the games are starting to last. So I do think this Intellion is an amazing card. I couldn't really put it any higher, but it's a card that I'm very excited about out of Chilling Reign. Next, we have Galerion Multrace V, which is a dark type with 220 HP, and it has a great ability and a decent attack. Also note it is weak to grass, where a lot of popular dark Pokemon are weak to fighting, so that can definitely come up. It has the ability Dire Flame Wings. Once during your turn, you may attach a dark energy card from your discard pile to this Pokemon. You can only use 1 of that ability per turn. So if you set up multiple of these, you cannot use all of their abilities. Galerion Moltres V's ability is great because you can start using it on turn 1 if you can get dark energy into the discard pile. On turn 2, you can use it again if you have another dark energy, and then just attach 1 time and have a 190 damage attack ready to go from Galerion Moltres V. It can also be teched into decks and just play a handful of dark energy and then use this as a tech attacker versus dark weak Pokemon like Trevenant Dusknoir and Shadow Rider Calyrex Vmax. You can also use it not even to attack with, but to accelerate dark energy onto the board, and then energy switch not only to dark Pokemon but to Pokemon that need colorless energy cost to fulfill their attack cost. The natural home for Galerion Moltres V is going to be in the Eternatus Vmax deck, because if your energy gets Crushing Hammered, you can just Dire Flame Wings it back and then energy switch. If you whiff an energy, you can discard an energy next turn and then Dire Flame Wings, energy switch, and your Eternatus Vmax is ready to go. So I expect to see a lot from Galerion Moltres V in multiple decks, which is going to be pretty cool. Next, at number 6, we have a new supporter card, Melanie. Now, some people may just say this is the next Welder. It is slightly different than Welder, but for all intents and purposes, let's just call it the Water Welder. You attach a water energy card from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon V. If you do, draw 3 cards. Now, this is already weaker than Welder. When Welder came out, you could still play supporters on turn 1. and Welder attaches 2 fire energy from the hand to draw 3 cards. Now, there will be cases where attaching water energy from discard is better than attaching it from hand, but you are still only attaching 1 extra energy, but I think that's fine for the water Pokemon we have. Ice Rider Calix Vmax needs 2 water energy. It can discard both of them to do its max damage of 250, so then next turn you could just use Melanie and attach manually, and you're back to doing max damage. Intellion Vmax needs 3 energy for its main attack, so you can attach on turn 1, then on turn 2 attach again, then Melanie, and you have your 3 energy to attack. So I do think Melanie will work out really well, and there's a lot of great water type VMAX Pokemon. Also note, this water energy can go to any of your Pokemon V. That means bench or active, water type or not water type, which is nice that it doesn't have restrictions to only being on the bench or active, or only being a water type Pokemon V. So I do think that's a nice lack of restriction that this Melanie card has. And as time goes on, once Pikarom rotates and once ADP and Luke Metal rotate, making Zacian a little worse, I think the water type VMAXs will have a lot more potential because they're all weak to lightning or metal. And those are really rough weaknesses to take right now in standard format, but Melanie is a very good card. I'm happy to see coming out of Chilling Reign. Next, we have Ice Rider Calix Vmax, what I just mentioned, going really well with Melanie. 320 HP VMAX Pokemon, water type, weak to metal, and it has 2 attacks. Ride of the High King, for 2 colorless, it does 10 plus 30 more damage for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So a typical bench of 5 Pokemon that your opponent will have will allow you to do 160 for 2 energy, and a bench of an Eternatus with 8 Pokemon on the bench would allow you to do 250 for just 2 energy, which is really nice. And then Max Lance, if you discard both water energy, you do 250. If you discard 1 energy, you do 130. So it's nice that you have an option to either do 10, 130, or 150 or 250, depending on how much damage you need to do and how much energy you'll be able to get onto it next turn. So this is a really efficient attacker. 2 energy attackers are they have the potential to be aggressive, kind of like Victini Vmax. You can attach a water energy to Ice Rider Calix V. Next turn, attach another water, evolve, boss up your opponent's V, and knock it out with Max Lance. So we can see some of the similar aggression from Victini Vmax in Calix Vmax as well. And it also goes well with the new Melanie card we just looked at to accelerate energy after a full-powered Max Lance. And it also goes well with Path to the Peak, since you can play Ice Rider Calix Vmaxes with virtually no rulebox abilities being used. But we will get to that in just a moment. Next is Galerion Zapdos V, fighting type with an ability and an attack weak to Psychic. The ability is Fighting Instinct, which is what makes this card so good. This Pokemon's attacks cost colorless less for each of your opponent's Pokemon V in play. So at the moment, this might not get full value because there are still a lot of GXs running around, like the Dene GX and ADP and Reshizard and Pikarom. But post-rotation, this is going to be an absolute monster because there will be even more V and VMAX Pokemon on boards. It has the attack Thunderous Kick for fighting and 3 colorless, but if your opponent has 3 Vs on the board, it's just for a fighting. If they have 2 Vs on the board, it's for a fighting and a colorless, etc. due to Fighting Instinct. Thunderous Kick does 170, and before doing damage, discard a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. So this is a great Eternatus VMAX counter, because Eternatus VMAX is typically going to have an Eternatus in the active, and then at least 2 Crobats on the bench, or a Crobat and a backup Eternatus at the very least, and that's 3 Pokemon V right there, making your Thunderous Kick attack cost just a fighting energy, which you can use an Aurora energy if you're just teching this into a non-fighting deck. And if the Eternatus has Weakness Guard energy on it, you even remove that before doing damage. So the only way an Eternatus is going to live through a Thunderous Kick is if they have a Big Charm on them. So even Weakness Guard won't protect them from Galerion Zapdos, which is pretty nice. And I do think Eternatus VMAX is going to be very good in this upcoming standard format meta. So Galerion Zapdos is also going to be very good. Next, we have Fog Crystal. It's a pretty simple item card, but boy is it powerful. Search your deck for a psychic energy card or a basic psychic Pokemon. Put it into your hand. So having the versatility of getting a psychic energy or a basic psychic Pokemon is insane, because Shadow Rider Calix Vmax both needs to set up multiple Shadow Rider Calix Vs turn 1 so they can evolve into Vmaxes on turn 2, and in the after that, after they become Vmaxes, all the deck needs is psychic energy in their hand so they can accelerate it and draw cards at the same time. So no matter if you see this card early, mid, or late, it's going to get you something you need. And there's also a lot of great tech Pokemon that are psychic, like Mew with Bench Barrier, Mewtwo to get supporters back from the discard pile, and Marshadow with a Resetting Hole. So Fog Crystal is a very versatile card, and it's also coming into a standard format where there are a lot of versatile psychic Pokemon that you can use it with, and also it's obviously coming out in Chilling Reign because of Shadow Rider Calix Vmax. So this incredible support card for a very strong a very strong Pokemon that's being pushed into the metagame, which is Calix Vmax. Fog Crystal is a no-brainer to have on this list. It is incredible. Next, at number 2, the runner-up is Path to the Peak. Path to the Peak is a stadium card that reads Pokemon with a rule box in play have no abilities. Pokemon V, Pokemon GX, Pokemon Prism, VMAX, etc. They all have rule boxes, so all of those abilities are shut off. That means Dedenne, Crobat, Kricketune, Shadow Rider Calix Vmax, Eternatus Vmax, Zacian V. All of these Pokemon have no abilities while Path to the Peak is in play. So this is shutting off an incredible amount of popular Pokemon that have abilities. This is really, really strong. It will be even stronger after rotation due to Chaotic Swell rotating, but this will definitely be strong at release as well. I think its power is very obvious, so I don't have too much else to say. It's an upgrade to Power Plant. Yeah, it's just so good. That's why I have it at number 2. The only thing better than it is Shadow Rider Calix Vmax. So Shadow Rider Calix Vmax has 320 HP. It's psychic type and it's weak to dark. It has an ability and an attack. The ability Underworld Door reads once during your turn you may attach a psychic energy from your hand to one of your benched psychic Pokemon. If you attached an energy to a Pokemon in this way, draw 2 cards. So not only does it accelerate basic psychic to benched psychic Pokemon, it also draws you 2 cards every time you do that. So now you might see why Fog Crystal is so darn strong, because Fog Crystal can search you that psychic energy that you immediately attach to one of your Pokemon, and then that also allows you to draw 2 cards, maybe getting into another psychic energy to use your next Shadow Rider Calix Vmax's Underworld Door to accelerate another energy and draw 2 more cards. And it just keeps itself going. So Shadow Rider Calix Vmax is incredibly good due to Underworld Door, and Max Geist, its attack is okay. It's a fine attack to have on the Pokemon. Anything more might have just been too good, because Shadow Rider Calix Vmax really doesn't want to be its own attacker right now. It definitely wants to have other attackers for the early and mid game, and then maybe in the late game it can clean up with Max Geist. But Max Geist for 3 colorless does 10 plus 30 more damage for each psychic energy attached to all of your Pokemon. And do note for Max Geist that will count like Aurora energy and stuff like that, but for Underworld Door it has to be a basic psychic energy, because it's not, special energies like Aurora are not a psychic energy until they're attached to a Pokemon. So Underworld Door has to be basic energy, and Max Geist will count anything that's counting on the board as psychic energy. So Shadow Rider Calix Vmax is what I think the best card out of Chilling Reign, and the card you're going to want to get if you're playing competitively and you want to have some of the best decks built for standard format. So those are my opinions on Chilling Reign and what the top 10 cards are. Let me know what your top 10 is and how different it is from my list, and let me know what you thought of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check out PotownStore.com, the best place for you to get ptcgo codes. Use code CELIO for 5% off. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for daily Pokemon TCG content, and leave a thumbs up if you did enjoy the video. Also check out my stream at twitch.tv/CeliosNetwork. Have a great day, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Celios Network.